All right, good morning, everybody. My name's Andrew Gutschall. I'm with Hanson Aggregates. I'm one of the 16 lucky people that were included in the first class of the Emerging Leaders, also known as PELA. So they said there's 16 of us from producing and associate members, member companies across the state. During the past year, we've gained unprecedented access to industry leaders, their facilities, and their knowledge. So our pictures are up there too, in case you want to see all of this. So from our meeting at Civil Environmental Consultants and tour of Bryan Materials in Pittsburgh, visit to New Enterprise Stone and Lime in Lancaster, leadership discussion and geology lesson at the Gettysburg National Battlefield during the summer, numerous Pennsylvania legislators and leaders at the state capitol in Harrisburg, a great tour of the Capitol building, a visit to Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, and we finished the year off with a great tour of the Laurel Aggregates underground operation in Southwest PA. Along with PACA leadership, Peter Vlahos and Callie Klein, and our facilitator, Greg Coker, we've navigated this program and we're challenged to develop industry-related capstone project to serve as the culmination of our experiences over the last 10 months. We're here today to discuss that. As Bob mentioned, we've kind of helped rename it as a cornerstone project. During various discussions with industry leaders throughout the program, a problem was identified that we all know exists in our industry. It's not a secret that there are many employees getting close to retirement age. I'm certain you know at least one that reminds you all the time. Or maybe that person's actually you. So what happens to all the institutional knowledge when it walks out the door? Who's on the bench to replace those retirees? And where do we recruit quality workers? To tackle the workforce crisis, we figured we'd start with data. Just switch that, sorry. We figured we'd start with the data. Many PACA member companies provided that data, and Corey is about to present that.
Thank you, Andrew. Yeah, I'm the lucky guy that gets to talk about the problem here. And with the help of Callie, we were able to gather about 3,000 PACA membership employees. So we had a fairly large sample size, and it's PACA-specific employees. So we wanted to reiterate that. We focused on retirement metrics only. This does not, include any inevitable retention issues we're all going to have. And we used a retirement age of 62. We looked at 60, 65. It's all going to vary, obviously, but 62 is where we landed. This employee right here works at Laurel Aggregates. He's actually retiring at the end of the year. He's a key foreman for us, so somebody that we're going to have to try and replace. Of all our employees that we gather, we broke it down into generations. Obviously, you expect to see a large number of baby boomers at 31% and Gen X at 38%. Millennials 26% and Gen Z at 5%. Obviously, the goal is to backfill everybody that's going to be leaving in that millennial and Gen Z bucket. Just another way to break down the data here. You can see by the end of this year, we're going to have about 500 employees that are going to be at retirement age. People that could walk away any day. They could call you anytime and say, hey, I think I'm going to call it quits here in the next month or so. Sounds far away, if you're looking at 2029, 2031, but obviously we all know time flies and that's going to be here very soon, and we should start planning for those departures right now. This might be the best visual of where we think we're headed, but we're currently sitting on 14% of our workforce that's ready to retire. By the end of 2023, it's going to be 21%, and by the end of 2031, 46%. So right now, we kind of need to be planning how are we going to address these issues and be proactive with them.
All right, so based on all that data, we determined that one way that PACA can help serve all of its members is by assisting with industry recognition and public outreach. Our industry is very broad. It has a bunch of different paths employees can take, various skills that are needed to run our businesses. But we haven't really had a cohesive strategy in the past for promoting our industry or our jobs. So the class decided that starting one place where members could work together and promote the industry and pool resources into one place would benefit all PACA members and by default the industry as a whole. So the first slide was kind of the mission statement we came up with, which is long and wordy. So the next two slides are just kind of the bullet points of the mission statement. And one part of it is the collective advocacy, which would include more of data tracking, keeping, evolving on the workforce age and skill retentions. We're looking at using various tools over the years that would assist members with recruitment, retention, training, as well as public outreach. These trainings, we don't have a set, this is what they're all going to be yet. They're going to vary: videos, webinars, handouts, whatever kind of the members need is going to go into this work group. All of the tools that we're going to develop in this workforce and have available to all members would help with retention, primarily because when employees are proud of their job in the industry, they talk about it, they brag about it. So that helps with the recognition and the outreach just by default, because people actually talk about what they do and they're proud of it and they like what they do. Excuse me. The outreach and educational part would involve working and fostering relationships with trade schools, public schools, private schools, as well as universities, to have somewhere for people to keep and foster those relationships. So if a member is looking to hire, there's a school that maybe that's near one member company that helps to outreach, to foster the relationships for all of PACA across the state. They may or may not come to that company, but using that relationship to get the industry promoted is kind of the goal. So it would also have stuff for field trips or school presentations. And this is kind of gearing more towards an HR thing for job fairs and internships, to give them tools to use to take with them, especially for companies that don't have their own big job fair programs yet. So that's kind of the boiled down version of what the workforce development community is going to look to do, and just kind of help promote the industry, give members resources, whatever they need to grow the industry, grow the community.
Just like to say a few words here about the video you're about to see. And it's my honor to do so. You know, we all have a story. If you all look around in this industry, in this room, we all have a story, you know, whether you're at the tail end of it or in the beginning of it. But we all have a story. And, you know, I'd like to brag a little bit on the industry, if you'd let me for a brief second. You know, how cool is it to work for this industry? You know, leading the way as being, you know, the second most consumed item in the world next to water is concrete. How cool is that, right? Pretty neat. Like I said, we all have a story. And, you know, 25 years ago when I entered this industry, you know, a lot of on-the-job training is what projected me into through my career. You know, if you want to talk about, you know, coarse aggregate volumes versus the fine aggregate volume, cement paste content, area steel, specific gravity, you know, 28-day strength, burning 2 kilns at once with 2 raw mills, 2 finished mills, and a blender for a 12-hour shift. Stone gradation, C3S value, blasting safety, DEP regs, MSHA regs, many layers of local and state specifications, or even employee development, which is huge, especially in our today's day and age. Being involved with PACA, PPA committee, Bridge Design Committee, NPCA, PCI, ACI, Turnpike Authority, you know, just to name a few that I've dealt with. All while having the amazing ability to work with some of the most intelligent people in our industry. Through this group as well. Just an amazing group. I could sit here all day and talk about us, but I've been limited on time. So, you know, my kids laugh at me sometimes when I tell them I haven't worked a day in 25 years because of what I love to do. You know, and it's rewarding. It really is. So how do we project that into the future? You know, every one of us here sitting here today has a job to do as part of that. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to our video.
What is this generation looking for in a future career?
I'd like to feel like I'm making a difference in my community.
I would like to be able to connect with others in my company.
A career where there is a lot of growth opportunities.
To use technology to be able to create and improve the way things are done.
What essential career opportunities does the aggregate, concrete, and cement industries offer?
I'm an engineer for a mining company.
And I'm a driller.
And I'm in the automation department.
And I'm a lab tech.
I was looking for an opportunity to self-improve and for that personal growth and somewhere to inspire some change and have some challenges face me.
The coolest thing I ever thought when I worked with, in some of the sand mines I worked in Tennessee, is all the Ford windshields around. I can say I was a part of that because we sold our sand to make all the glass windshields for Ford.
This industry has a lot of impact on our communities, from community outreach, getting people aware of our operations, from quarrying to the operations of cement and concrete.
What I would tell somebody that's looking to get into this industry is that the job security in the industry, it's always something that's going to be there and that's going to be needed in everyday life. It's definitely something that you can build a career off of.
For me, it's something different every day between, loading trucks with different mixes and maintaining the plant, replacing parts that failed.
So what appeals to me the most about this industry, one, heavy equipment operations. I love running the big machineries. Two would be the on-the-job training that this industry offers. It's excellent. Anyone can get into it.
Any woman out there that is interested or has ever thought about becoming a driver, do it. It's rewarding, it's fun, and it's something different every day.
The camaraderie, it's everyone's kind of on the same boat. We're all together with it. It's a weird family to be a part of, but everyone's part of it.
Construction always, and especially ready-mix concrete, offers a lot of employment opportunities. There's always construction going on. Doesn't matter what time of year it is, and there's always changing technologies. Likewise, we are always looking to hire people.
I would tell them that it is a career that's going to be around for quite a while. We're always going to need limestone to build things, build roads, infrastructure. I had two buddies that were looking for jobs. I told them both to apply here. They both got in, and they really seem to enjoy it here as well as I do.
So as a new person starting out in our industry, there's vast career opportunities.
A lot of the guys that are in this career, especially engineers, they're all getting to the point of retirement. So now there needs to be a new crop of us younger guys to kind of move in and take the place. And I'm glad that I got in when I did, because I'm able to learn from these guys who've been in the industry 20, 30, 40 years. They have so much wisdom and experience to lean on. I mean, any question you ask them, they usually have an answer for you.
Now is the time to consider an essential career in the aggregate, concrete, and cement industry. Contact PACA for more information on starting your career today.
Yeah, right? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Just one last thing here before Bob comes up is I just highly encourage you to nominate somebody to be part of this next PACA or PELA group that's nominated. So thank you very much for your time.
First step, this is the cornerstone to an effort that PACA is going to try to develop. And I want to just let you know that yesterday at our board meeting, my fellow members of the board approved the creation of a PACA workforce development community. It's a big first step again, and I'm also pleased to announce that during the budget phase, they approved a seed money of $5,000 towards strategy and tools to communicate the workforce needs of the industry as created by this newly created community. We applaud the efforts of the inaugural PELA class of 2021. You have done us proud, and I commit my whole support to workforce development as your chairman of the board. I'd also like to acknowledge, recognize, and thank Mr. Greg Coker, who's sitting right here. Greg served as the instructor and facilitator of the newly created PACA Emerging Leaders Academy this year. The success of this first year is not only due to the commitment of the class, but by the inspiration and leadership that Greg provided. For all of you sitting here, Please watch for an email blast regarding the newly created workforce development community. We need your volunteers to become a part of this community to move it forward to success. I had the opportunity to go to the PELA class, the last one that took place in the Lehigh Valley, and it was one of the highlights of the year for me.
PELA has been great for me personally. Being new to the industry, I mean, it's kind of given me the opportunity to meet a bunch of great people and really just get my name out there and start to really network and start my career. It's great because, I mean, it's not age specific. They have so many years of combined experience and industry knowledge, and we've gotten to visit all over the state, multiple of their facilities, and it was great to get to really learn from them and from Callie and from Peter and from Greg. Greg was a great facilitator for this whole program. He's taught us many different approaches to start to become leaders in our industry, and I just want to thank them and just pretty much our whole entire group here. It was such a great experience for me personally, and I'm sure everyone else as well. Thanks.
Well, Greg, thank you so much. I think you should be up here too, but I know this isn't about you. This is about us, what you've taught us this whole entire time. But honestly, as you can see, we all have, our demographics are also different, but I think we felt as a family. I mean, honestly, our very first trip to Pittsburgh, as a lot of the guys can tell you, I was so nervous. I was like, oh my word, I cannot drive to Pittsburgh myself. This is not possible. I hear horror stories. And anyway, Angie made it without a problem. And ever since then, like, I feel like I can conquer the world. I've talked to Greg a couple times personally. I've talked to each and every one of these guys personally, and I can do this, you know, and I can do this personally and at home. Like, when you feel confident and amazing at home, it shows when you're at work, and that is what this program has given me. So I thank everyone for the opportunity, and I thank you guys for being so amazing.
Last but not least, fellas, come in here as the quiet guy, probably from a truck driving career. I've worked my way through the company. Got into this, given the opportunity to take what I've learned, and I've brought actually one of our younger workforce people, a 23-year-old, into the company. The key takeaway with that being said is Greg made the statement, good leaders, you have a group of guys that can build a wall. A good leader will take that same group of guys and build an empire. It's endless, he can do whatever. So this is my opportunity. Greg sharpened my knife, to say the least, and we're going to develop this young 23-year-old into, hopefully someday, he's standing here talking to the rest of us. So, but age specific, loved it. Resource specific, it's endless. I got to learn a little more about the industry. I came from the ready mix. I didn't understand everything that was going on. So what a better, great opportunity to meet all these people across the state and grow and network, and support's here. I mean, these ladies and gentlemen here are great. They're great people. So thanks for the opportunity, and I'll close it with that.